Rise up the starry plough in James Conley's name.
Rise up the starry plough
For his glory and his fame.
He joined the transport union
So workers could be free.
Fought for Irish freedom.
For the likes of
Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, everybody. This is Mick O'Brien here, and joined by my comrade in arms, my partner in crime, of course, the great Martin Walsh. How are you going, Mort?
Yes, that's very professional. Well,
You wanted it to be professional, didn't you?
Yeah, but not that professional. Well, Monday morning,
day off.
Yeah, our weekend starts on the Monday, Mick.
It does.
How's things with you?
Yeah, busy now, busy down in Mayo there the weekend, and so a late whole night coming back. But we did a great whole gig down in the theatre there in Mayo, and with about 1,500 people in. It was lovely, yeah. You know. So
Thank Booleigh for that. We put you on the map.
I think you got that the wrong way around. Like, there was nobody going to Booleigh until the Druids started playing out there, and then we took over.
Until I went in there. And then I brought you, and now you're playing 3 or 4 gigs in Kildare.
Yeah.
Now, folks, myself and Mick have decided that we told you we were going to do a podcast, and this is our first podcast, and we'll be doing them. It's called the Booleigh Boys. Look us up on Facebook. We'll be on TikTok the whole lot. And what we're going to do today...
You were a bit old for TikTok.
Yeah, but all the young lads are on TikTok.
Right.
And my fan base is going to be on TikTok.
Sorry, did you just say that again there?
My fan base.
Your fan base?
My fan base.
Is going to what?
It'll be on TikTok and social media.
Right, okay.
It's all about me now, nothing to do with you.
Am I just turning the dials here? Is that all I'm doing?
Yeah, but I needed someone to turn the dials. Come here anyway, come here. We have a guest this morning, have we?
Yeah, so we were saying, going back some time ago, that when we started doing the podcast, that we were coming into the political season, so the election was looming, and we were heading for the election like boys, and we said that we would kind of try and look at the political issues, particularly in South Kildare, where we're based in South Kildare, yeah?
Yeah, a lot of problems.
Yeah, you've lived in South Kildare all your life.
Yeah, I lived in Kildare Town, mate.
Yeah.
We're still in Kildare Town. Myself and you share a house here.
Yeah.
And the party politics hasn't worked for us.
Well, it's interesting that we've had two parties, Tweedledum and Tweedledee, in power for the last 100 years since the foundation of the state, really.
We were late in them calling them that. Anyway. Come on. Right,
but we're in an interesting era here in this country where, you know, we have billions of surplus in the budget, right?
One of the richest countries in the world, mate.
Yeah, billions of surplus, but the planes are full.
We don't even want money off Apple.
No.
They want to give it back to them.
They want to give it back to them, yeah.
That tells you how Tweedledum and Tweedledoo.
Yeah. But you go to Dublin Airport, Mort, the planes are full. They're heading to Australia, right? All the young people the brain drain is happening.
My son is gone.
Yeah, he's in Canada, isn't he?
He's in Canada after being in 2 other countries.
He was in Australia before that.
He is now top of that. He's in recruitment.
All right, okay.
And they can't get workers, so he's even thinking of starting up his own base in Ireland to get workers out to Canada.
Well, I never thought I'd see a day when we're getting calls. The Druids are getting calls from promoters in Australia to go play for the Irish in Australia. We're heading out there in January, and we're going for 3 weeks and doing all the cities in Australia where all the Irish are. And like again, we have a surplus in the budget, billions of a surplus, and yet all the young people are heading out.
Money as well.
Why are they heading out though?
Because it's a simple thing about what's going on here, right? When you're growing up in any town in Ireland, you're given manners and education by your parents, and then you expect to get a good job, and then you expect to get enough money to be able to afford a house, and if you get sick, go to a hospital, and get looked after, and from there on, you pay your taxes and you have a good old life. It's a simple thing. But we've, over the years, whatever's after happening with, whether it's elitism or whatever's after happening in this country, this is all going out the fucking window.
Yeah.
And look, this is not uncensored, so if you hear recording...
Did you say fucking on the podcast?
Yeah, we said this is going to be uncensored.
Yeah.
And it's going to be uncensored, and we're going to tell our truth, right? I left school at 14 years of age with no idea. I went in and done an apprenticeship at 18 years of age. At 18 years of age, I was a qualified butcher, and at 21, I was running the shop.
Right.
At 23 years of age, I had enough money to go buy my first house for £30,000.
How many years ago was that?
That's over 35 years ago.
Right. So you, at 23 years of age, you had enough money to go and buy your own house.
I was able to borrow 80,000 of my own house. I remember buying the house and I had enough money to pay for my wedding and a deposit on the house.
And you weren't a solicitor or a barrister, you were a butcher. Yeah?
It was on £197. I was on about £197 or £297.
Yeah.
Given or taken.
Well, now let me tell you my situation. I was 25 when I bought my first house. I bought it in Ballyfermot in Dublin when I was 25. And do you think any of your sons or any of my sons will be able to buy their first house at that age?
My oldest lad is 33 years of age. Now I'm separated from my wife, but my wife still has the home place. And my son is 33 years of age. He's on a salary between 60 and 70,000 a year. He's a banking technician. Don't even know what he does because he works for that. And I asked him, "You're going to buy a house?" He says that I couldn't get a loan for it with 60 or 70,000.
He couldn't get a loan earning 60 or 70,000.
Yeah, but the second fucking problem is, sorry about that.
Are you saying fucking again on the podcast?
The second problem is, right? It's all right having 70,000, but how did you afford to buy a £500,000 house with 70,000?
Absolutely.
Because you see, mate, what's wrong with there's no one riding shotgun anymore.
Yeah.
There's no one riding shotgun.
Yeah.
Balances and checks.
Yeah.
And what's happening is that there's a lad earning 70,000 here a year, right? You go into a new housing estate now in County Kildare, right? And there's a lad has a car in a 3-bedroom house, and I never thought I'd seen it there. There's a Mercedes outside the house, and there's 2 new cars because that couple are on good money, but all they can afford is a 3-bedroom semi.
Yeah.
When my day, you buy a mansion for what they're on.
Yeah, but here's the other thing, though, Murgy. You go inside the house, right?
Yeah.
So the 2 cars outside the door are on HP, right? And they're on the old drip. And then you go inside the house, the couch is on HP as well. And the television, the fridge, the washing machine, they're all on HP. People are in debt up to their ears. Do you know?
But that's what I'm saying, mate. That goes back to when my mother and father and your mother and father.
Yeah.
Where my mother and father used to have the rent man coming on a Saturday and she'd be collecting all the money. And the next thing, the Jew man would be there. Yeah. You'd be giving the Jew man £2 for his clothes, right?
That's right.
And you do that. So what's after happening is, right, did you go over to Harry Norman's now today, right?
Harry Norman's.
Is it Harry, is it?
No, fucking Harvey Norman's.
Harvey Norman. I call him Harry because it probably is Harvey Norman. But come here, get your first get. I tell you now, is this going to stop? Checking me on me grammar, like, Brody, where are you? Come here. No, wait, what's wrong now, right? What is it?
Fucking Harvey.
What is it?
Harvey Norman.
Harvey, is it?
Harvey Norman.
Harvey Norman, right. But you go over to him now, the first thing he does when you go in, he says, I'll give you a HP on this.
Yes, that's right.
I'll give you a HP.
That's right. That's right.
So the whole lot's gone pear-shaped.
You've HP coming out through your ears.
Yeah, but you pay, everything's on a no. You can't go and buy anything now.
Yeah. Well, listen, that's the scene that we're living in at the moment.
So
I think we will. And so we've our first guest on the podcast today is, I suppose, she's a politician and a woman she's been around the block and she's been through it, really. She got elected 5 years ago as a Sinn Féin TD in the Sinn Féin wave that happened at the time. And she served in the Dáil. She was spokesperson for older people. And she's been a Trojan worker for people in South Kildare for the last 5 years. And we're delighted to have her. And that's Patricia Ryan.
Morning, Patricia.
Good morning to you both. Thank you for having me.
You're very welcome to the podcast. You were our first victim.
My God. Is that good or bad?
I don't know.
Thanks a million for having me.
Not at all. So, listen, Patricia, can I take you back? I have a couple of questions I'd like to ask. I always wanted to ask a politician, right? So, first of all, when you ran for election 5 years ago in South Kildare, right, did you think you'd get elected?
Yes, I did, because I wouldn't run in an election if I wasn't going to get elected. Why would you put that? Why would you go through that? If you're not going to get elected, like, you have to be positive. So absolutely, I wanted to get elected, so that's why I ran in that election. I had failed in elections previous to that, so it was absolutely vital that I ran in this one to try and get elected, and I did.
Yeah, and when you got elected, and you went to the Dáil for the first time, I could just imagine, like, walking into the Dáil for your first time. What was that like?
It was surreal, to be honest, and it was a very proud moment.
Yeah.
And I was very proud to be there to represent the people of South Kildare. So it was vital that it was there, and I enjoyed it. And being in the Dáil for the last while has been very difficult. It's not family friendly, and it's certainly not women friendly. We have a very low percentage still of women TDs. So it's a very good experience, and I want to continue working at that experience.
Yeah, yeah. And when you say it's not family friendly and it's not women friendly, so yes, the numbers of men way outweigh the numbers of women. Like what's a working day in the Dáil? Like what do you do? Like
a working day in the Dáil could start. People have a perception that you go up to the Dáil and you might say a few words and you run home.
Yeah.
It's far from that, let me tell you. You could be in the Dáil at 9 o'clock in the morning, which is fine. It's not a really early start. But you could be there till 12 o'clock at night sometimes. So that's your 15-hour day. It's not every day.
Yeah.
You do 3 days a week generally in the Dáil, in the Leinster House. So you would be there from 9 o'clock. You would have various meetings. You would have all the leaders' questions would be on from 12 o'clock on a Wednesday and a Thursday, 2 on a Tuesday. And then you would have various committees you would be on. You would have various speaking times and speaking slots. And you would be working on your parliamentary questions, your oral questions, your topical issues, and all of them other things as well. And then you would be in on a voting block on a Wednesday night. They call it the revisions. And a voting block could be at 10 o'clock at night. You would have to be there for that.
Right.
And obviously, if you're being there for the people of South Kildare, you have to vote. Some people don't bother turning up. Some TDs don't be there.
they don't turn up for the vote.
Some people don't. No, it depends on whether they're there at the moment or not. There is a thing called pairing. That means that some parties would have pairs. And that's fine if they have other things on. There would be a pairing situation there. But you would have former TDs who wouldn't bother turning up for a vote. So I think for the people of South Kildare, it's vital to be there for that vote.
Yeah,
100%,
absolutely.
100%.
Yeah.
100%. Can I ask you one question, Patricia? I've got to know you over last year. And the big talking point about you when you went for the first was your holiday. Remember the holiday you took?
The famous holiday, yeah. The holiday was a very good holiday.
Yeah, but do you know why you reckon you took that holiday?
Why did I take a
Because
holiday?
you had to do that much work since, so you needed a holiday before you started.
I did.
Because I believe since that, and I've got to know you through the pub. And
That makes me sound like I'm in the pub all the time now, Mark. Not the truth.
you like a drop of red wine so.
I like to support local people as well, Mark.
Yeah, but Mick does come over because he likes to make a grub and you like to chat and we have all the chat and I've got to know you. But what I've seen over the years is with you, and I didn't understand what a real politician does.
Right.
Because I thought that most of them were a heap of gobshites anyway. So
Right.
that's it. Because I think O'Leary was given out to the other day about teachers and that. But O'Leary said what O'Leary said was 100% right. I've run businesses all my life. I've been running your business all my life, and I said you have to know what you know what you're going in it. And I believe this woman learned on the job in the beginning. But I guarantee you, the only thing I ever tell her when she's in the pub is to slow down. You're not going to be around to do it because the woman is rolling here, rolling there. Even this morning, she's in here telling us that she has to go here, there, and
Yeah.
that. And I think you were entitled to your holiday before you started because you haven't taken one since.
Well, the first thing I'd say about the holiday was my family, my children, adult children, had bought me that holiday as a Christmas present. I couldn't throw it back in their face. They had spent their hard-earned cash to do that. So if somebody gives you something as a courtesy, I think it's vital that you take it. And it still didn't make any difference in the end. I still done my work and I canvassed right up to that election. So it paid off in the end for me to do that work, and I continue to do work. And you mentioned about teachers and people, and what you said, gobshites was the word you used. And you're telling me this is not censored. But what I'm going to say to you is I have lifelong experience as a person. I was worked in manufacturing. I came from a normal family. I was an only child. My parents worked very hard, and my mother ran a pub. My father worked in a timber yard. They were ordinary Joe soaps. I wasn't spoiled as an only child. We went from hand to mouth. I worked in manufacturing for many years. I was a shop steward in that manufacturing business. I went on to work in the, the restaurant business as well. I then went back to education as an adult in my 40s. And I got a diploma in art and design, and I worked hard at that. So I've worked hard all my life. I also then became a carer and ended up living on a very poor wage of €219 a week as a carer.
So what you're saying to me there is that you've done the graft.
I have done the graft.
And I'm going back to this thing about O'Leary, right? I wouldn't like Michael O'Leary as a person, but as a businessman, right? He knows what he's talking about. If I want a plumber, I go get a plumber. If I want an electrician, I go get an electrician. And I don't care who you are or what job you go for, right? If you're a teacher and you go in there, right? And what I'm after learning over the years, it's the civil servants that are the biggest problem now at the moment, because I heard a politician a few weeks ago saying that I'm here for 4 years. And it says I'll go in and spend 4 years trying to change these people, and you can't change them.
Yeah.
So Michael O'Leary is right. And as I wouldn't be a big Donald Trump supporter either, but
I'm good. Glad to hear that.
I think that's, if we have a fucking swamp, then this will be cleaned.
Yeah. Well, there's a couple of questions that I think we should get into some of the issues in South Kildare now. So, look, as we said before, Patricia came on the podcast, that the scene at the moment in South Kildare is as follows. Well, certainly my interpretation of it is that we have a housing crisis, right? Not just in South Kildare, but in the whole country, right? A housing crisis. The Social Democrats, Rory Ahern, is asking for it to be made an emergency, a housing emergency. So if there's an emergency made, then it has to be all hands on the pump. Where do you stand on that, Patricia, on the housing crisis?
I think we are seeing the biggest housing crisis we have ever seen in this country.
100%.
And it absolutely is an emergency, and we must deal with it. Everybody is entitled to a roof over their head, and every child should have a bed to go into at night and a roof over their head to feel secure. Your home is your security, and absolutely it's a crisis. And we've had consecutive governments for the last 13, 14 years, and while they're telling you they're fixing the housing crisis, it's gone from bad to worse.
Yeah.
We have the biggest number of people on a housing list in Kildare ever. We have over 10,000 people on a housing list. We have homeless people who are couch surfing, who nobody even counts, and they're moving from hand to foot. I have homeless people coming inside my door week on week. I had a woman recently in a car with a 2-month-old baby.
What?
Sleeping in a car with a 2-month-old baby. That'd be only one in many things.
In one of the richest countries in the world.
With a lot of poor people.
My God. So someone sleeping in their car with a baby.
She wouldn't be the first person that would have come to my office. I would have several people
Well, can I ask
who've been
you a
sleeping
question?
in cars.
Who started that? Who started this? Where did this all start?
Well, I think I can remember back. So I grew up in a council house in Wexford, right? In a council house in Wexford, and you know, like everybody else. So the houses were built in 1974. There was a public building company. They built the houses.
Were your houses council houses rings?
Yeah.
Rings, like my house?
Yeah, council houses,
So
yeah.
there's 14, 15 houses?
Yes.
Who stopped all that?
Well, a Fianna Fáil government came into
100%.
being, and they stopped the social housing building project.
It's not building council, but forget about these social houses. This is a nice name for council houses. Right?
Yeah, absolutely.
They're
Yeah,
council houses. Right?
yeah, absolutely.
They were built by the council, and they're still built by the council.
Yeah.
Now the council don't build them.
Yeah.
And if you take this estate that we're here at the moment.
Yeah.
Yourself and me are in a three bed. We rent it.
Yeah.
We rent it. The rent has gone up.
No, it's important to say there, Mort, because you're an awful fucker at this, right? You to be telling people we live together. We don't live together. We share a house together. Okay? We share a house together. Okay?
You've never been in my fucking bed. I
No,
know that. But you understand where I come from. So look, this is the madness of this country, right?
Yeah.
Fine Gael caused the problem by stop building council houses. Don't
Yes.
call them sausage houses to me, because they're council houses, right? I came from a council houses. 6 in one bedroom, 3 in another, and my mother and father in the other.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And every one of us lived the Irish dream.
Yeah.
Except two of them had to go. So the Fianna Fáil caused this by stopping the building, and now they're going to solve it.
Yeah, but they're not. They're not going to. So if we go back to the 1990s, right? And so Maggie Thatcher, when she got elected in 1979, and I think it was 1981, herself and Ronald Reagan came together and they decided to open up the markets between England and America, right? Hence the onslaught of neoliberalism, right? So neoliberalism started back then. We adopted it under a Fine Gael government. And, the champion of neoliberalism was Leo Varadkar. He wanted to push everything to the market, privatise everything, So now in Kildare, even we have the bus routes. The bus routes are privatised, right? So private companies run the bus routes. And then the housing situation pushed to the market, the rental situation pushed to the market. And so nobody takes responsibility for fucking anything. Do you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So where are you on that, Patricia? Where are you in terms of this privatisation? Like, for example, again, the Social Democrats are saying that if they got into power, that they would open up a public building company again. Would you support that?
I believe we should have public houses built on public lands.
Yes.
I would look at what the formation of the next government if I was elected, and I would decide then what I was going to do.
Yeah.
But we definitely need to build public houses and public lands.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
where I will be coming from. And we haven't done that for a very long time.
Yeah.
And we currently have local authorities that are renting houses on a 25-year lease.
Yeah.
A 25-year lease for any local authority to rent is absolutely ludicrous. The only one that's making money out of that is the developer.
Absolutely, yeah.
So we need to stop that carry on, and I certainly want to see public housing and public land.
Right, deadly, brilliant. I never asked you about leaving Sinn Féin. Can we go back to that for a second?
Of course we can.
So you were the Sinn Féin candidate, the Sinn Féin TD in South Kildare. Huge support from people. And it's all went pear-shaped over the last couple of months. What happened?
I suppose it hasn't been something that went pear-shaped over the last few months. It's been an ongoing issue. I think the issues when you're in a party like Sinn Féin can be... I learned my craft from them now. Don't get any illusions here. I certainly learned my craft from Sinn Féin as being a TD for Sinn Féin, and would have worked as a spokesperson for older people and would have worked with many advocacy groups. But the reality of being in any party is you are whipped to vote.
Yeah.
And sometimes you're whipped to vote on some of the issues that wouldn't really be proper for the people of South Kildare. And while I suppose all parties really are central, they forget there are areas outside the Red Cow. And I certainly believe that we need to look at rural Ireland. And if I'm being forced to vote on situations that don't deal with the issues in South Kildare, I feel I'm not the right fit for that party.
Okay. And is that the reason why you left?
There was reasons around legal encampments and Facebook posts and all sorts of things like that, and being curtailed and being censored in what I wanted to say. Okay. And then there was also internal reasons, if I'm 100% honest, of people not listening to you as the TD and trying to undermine you. That was a problem for me, I'll be 100% honest.
Yeah, okay. Are them internal struggles alive in every party, do you think?
I certainly would think they are, yes.
Yeah.
Yes, I think people fight for their cause, and sometimes they're not listened to, absolutely.
Yeah. And as an independent candidate going forward with the hope of being elected as an independent TD, what kind of clout do you think you can have in the Dáil as an independent?
You certainly still have clout. People have this thing in their head that you don't have clout as an independent. Of course you have clout as an independent. The formation of governments are going to look for independence at any stage. You also have your voting bloc. You also can go in on your topical issues, your oral questions, and your parliamentary questions that you would ask. You also have time to go in on amendments, and you will have your speaking slots. While your speaking slots may not be the same length of time as the parties or the opposition parties, you are allowed your speaking slots, and you do split that. So of course, and I will still have my office if the people re-elect me. So my office and my staff will be there to help people as well. It's vital that you have an office in an area if people can come with the problems and have them solved.
Yeah. And what about, so let's move to one of the other issues. Go, of course you can, yeah. So will you make a tea there a few minutes ago? Yeah, you can't stay easy, can you?
No, but you just wanted a cup of coffee.
Jesus,
her personal assistant wouldn't make it, so I went up and made it for her. I was watching her, now she wants to hit me. No, I just listened to you there, and just talk well the two years. I have to go back and get the dictionary, get some of them words. Patricia, the biggest thing I see that as an independent, you can vote what way you like. So if there's a motion on the floor from Fine Gael and it makes sense, you can vote for that. Or say there was a motion on the party and the other party, can you vote with you can make your own decision. What you're after telling me is party politics is you have to vote their way. You can't. You're not independent. You haven't got an independent vote.
Yes, that's correct. You
are whipped. Yeah, but sure, whipped is the right word, isn't it? It must be hard to sit
But
there.
I'm not going to vote anyway, just for the sake of voting anyway. I will vote for the best of the ability.
Yeah, but you have to, as an independent, because a lot of people don't understand what independent means. You see, when you look at we have to understand, right? We have had generations of politics in this country, right? My father was a staunch Labour man, so my father told me to back Labour. I backed Labour, and then the staunch man. I've never voted Fianna Fáil in my life, right? Because I always believed it was the rich man's party. Still to today, it's the rich man's party. It always was. The Galway tent wasn't an illusion; it was real. Yeah. The Galway tent was that.
I always took you for a blue shirt for the Fine Gaeler.
No, Labour.
All right, I thought you were Fine.
And believe it or not, mate. Believe it or not, I can't. I've decided. I don't believe in party politics anymore. I don't believe to follow one party anymore. You have to vote in people that are going to do something for your area. And there's one thing I was always told, and it's only coming loose now. Vote in the person you think that's going to best represent South Kildare. Because a person in Kerry is not going to worry about South Kildare.
Yeah.
So that person that you think is going to be the person that's going to really help your community, right?
Yeah.
Because what you're hearing here is that you're going up and you're looking to fight for your corner, and sometimes you listen to. And as an independent, I think that she can go talk to anyone now. I think I believe the independents can do very well in this election. Because
well, you're not the only one that's saying that, Bert. A lot of people are kind of leaning towards independence as well. Here's another issue I'd just like to hear your views on, Patricia, because I think it's a very important issue, and I think it's a game changer or a game breaker in some ways, is the immigration issue. So we have, there's no doubt about this. There's thousands, tens of thousands of people coming into the country, coming from war-torn countries, some not as well. And there's a very polarized kind of view of the immigration situation. So you have those who are absolutely saying no, and saying it vigorously through protest and through whatever, and other people are kind of saying no, welcome people in. What's your view?
I believe that we are a country that have gone all over the world. We have sent, and Murty spoke earlier about his son travelling to Canada and all of that. We've had people, and you're talking about going to Australia, and you're talking about all the places you're going to visit. We've had people from Ireland who have gone all over the world and have been welcomed. Yes, they've worked hard and they've built many areas in New York and all them areas. But I firmly believe, if you have somebody coming from a war-torn country, or where there are famines, that we have to be humanitarians as well. We have to accept people and do what we can. I do, however, have a problem if you put people into areas where the infrastructure is very poor and you have no GP services, no transport services, no schools, all of that, and very little shops. You can't equally bring in people and put them in tents along the canal.
Yeah.
That doesn't work.
Yeah.
We have to respect them as people that are coming in, the same as we have to respect everybody else. They have to be respected and they deserve that respect. Are there people coming in here who shouldn't be? Of course there are. What is the problem? The problem is they are not being deported when they should. That goes to the Minister for Justice, and that's a failure of the justice system. And I firmly believe that the Minister for Justice did not do her job on this. It's all very fine telling somebody that, we're going to deport you, and asking them to do it themselves without following up on it. We have wrote to the Minister for Justice on several questions. We have raised this on several areas, and we have asked for the amount of people who have been deported. And we've got willy-nilly of an answer. That's not good enough. Telling someone to go out of the country and not following it up is like the fox in the hen house. We need to solve it.
Can I ask a question here? Just layman's question again. How did you get in the first place?
Well, I suppose the reality is to come across Europe, to come into England, to come down through the borders. And that's how they get in.
Who vets these people?
I'm not sure who vets them. The Minister for Justice is supposed to look after the system there.
Can I work out the system? If I go to America in the morning, can I get into America without being vetted, or can I go out anywhere without a passport?
You cannot, no.
So you're telling me that we have an open border system then, because it simply looks like we have an open border system that anyone can come in, and then we decided to tell them to go home and give them the price of the airfare and tell them to go to the airport. And bless yourself and hope that they get to the airport in time. Is that what we're looking at?
I think,
is that what we're looking at?
Yeah, my view...
Is that layman's terminal, would it?
It would be, but my view on this is that I'm with Patricia on this. I think we can't bring people into the country and not have services and facilities for them. We can't bring people into the country.
No, see, this is the problem.
We can't.
I understand, because we have had this conversation, me and you, right? Before anyone even accused me being a racist, right? I have a Chinese nephew and I have a Bangladesh nephew, right?
Yeah.
So no one's ever going to accuse me being
I don't think what you're saying is racist.
No. But what I'm going to say, because see, racist word can be thrown. You see, this is the problem we have in Ireland at the moment, right? Because as you've always said to me about governments and that, right? So if you come up with a statement now and you say, right, those 6 black lads have to go back to America.
Yeah.
Oh no, you can't throw them out there. It's racist. You have to look at them. The problem is, it's like every system is ever built in the world, right? Man will try to beat it. So if you're Johnny. We're going to say it. I just want to say I'm Johnny Black. I'm sitting in the middle of India. Sitting in India, and his brother rings him. He says, "Come on, we go to Ireland. They'll give you €300 a week. They'll give you a house after 6 months, and you'll be able to get a car as well." I've even heard one story, and this is 100% story. There was 2 lads sent into the country. There's 2 lads went into the country. One lad was in Dublin, one was in the car, and he was given a car. So he was visited.
That's bullshit, Mort. That's bullshit. No, nobody gets cars.
Yeah, but
you know what I mean? That's crap.
But the problem is here, right? If this person is in a war-torn country and she has 3 kids, and I give her my bed, right?
Yeah.
But no, I'm asking the question now because I'm serious on this, right? I'm serious in this. But what happens about the lad, the young 19 to 24 lad that can work? He comes over to Ireland, right?
Yeah.
Now, Mick, I'd be pissed off at that.
Yeah, but Mort, look, listen. Patricia is right.
But that's racism, no, Mick.
It's not. No, it's not. It's not.
You're not telling me it's racist.
It's not racist.
There's people out there who want to tell me.
No, it's not. It's not. But what Patricia said, I think, is correct.
Right.
Is that in every system, there will be people who have come into the country and abused it. Right now. I want to bring you back to the 1960s, 70s and 80s in England,
right,
when a lot of people, Irish people, went over and abused that system over there as well. There's people in America, like in 1984, there was 250,000 illegal Irish immigrants living in the borough of New York, or in the borough of the Bronx, right? So we abuse the system as well. So you will have everybody that will abuse the system.
The difference then, Michael, right? I have 3 uncles. I have 3 uncles and 2 aunties that went to America. There was only 2 of them left, right? When they went to America and they landed in America, right? With a suitcase, right? And this is what bugs people, right? Right? Because I can tell you where it's coming from, because this is where it happens. They landed in America, right? First of all, my uncle was an engineer. He got a job in JFK, and he got a job in JFK, and he couldn't afford to get an apartment. There was no one in the UK, in America, walked up to him with a blank check and says, "We'll get you this, we'll get you that." And what happens is, now, you're under illusion that this and that this. But what's the system? What is the system here?
No, you see, Mark, the American Constitution is different than the Irish Constitution. We have a responsibility under the Constitution to look after people that are here. So we have a welfare system here.
We have a welfare system.
Yeah.
But most people in Ireland think it's a one-way system to the immigrants now. Because if you go and look for anything, right?
That's not true. That's not true.
You answer me then that if someone's on the waiting list for 10 years, right? And someone comes into the country after 3 years and gets a house in front of you. Do you not think that's injustice?
Well,
they're not getting council houses.
They're not.
They're not. We have to be very clear on that.
Sorry, I want to ask a simple question. You can dress it up anyway. It's like, are they getting a house after 3 years?
No.
So where are these people being put?
They're put into the IPAS centres, and they're housed in there in like terrible conditions.
You have right-wing groups that want you to think that these people are getting houses above people are on a housing list. Let's be very clear here.
This is the question.
Yeah, let's be very clear. These people that come into this country do not get local authority houses.
No, they don't.
People that are on getting local authority houses, in Kildare alone, are 10 to 12 year waiting on them houses. So if someone says to you, "Paddy Joe got a house in front of me," that is not the truth. You have no illusions.
Yeah.
That's the answer I'm looking for.
Let's move on to the
Sorry about that, man.
That's okay. You're allowed to rant.
Let's move on to crime. So I lived in Newbridge for 20 years. When I moved to Newbridge, first of all, like 25 years ago or whatever it was, Newbridge was a lovely kind of rural town, full of culture, full of entertainment. It was kind of a local, although it was a big enough town, but it was still, everybody kind of knew everybody in it. I was one of the blow-ins that came into it.
Into Kildare as well.
I did, absolutely. I'm a very proud Wexford man, very proud. But anyway, it's changed, Patricia. Newbridge has changed drastically changed, and people are living on the edge there at the moment. There's a lot of drug use, an awful lot of drug use, an awful lot of people that are homeless. What's your view on that? What do you think?
There's a huge issue in Newbridge, but Newbridge is not the only town that has these issues. There are other towns on the commuting belt as well, and there are other towns in South Kildare that have the similar issues. Newbridge in particular is quite a large town, so we have lots of different communities within that, and lots of different cultures now have come in. And it's very easy to blame the outside culture that are coming in for the cause of the criminality that's going on. It's not necessarily an outside culture that's causing it. Yes, we're a commuter town and we're on the motorway and you can have cars whizzing in and whizzing out for robberies and all sorts of criminality in that way. But the problem in Newbridge is the lack of Gardaí. It's not a Newbridge problem, it's a South Kildare problem. Excuse me. It's a South Kildare problem for the simple reason there is no recruitment and no retention in the Garda Síochána at the moment. And we have wrote to the former Justice Minister Helen McEntee around this, and we are promised the moon and the stars around that. It doesn't work. It's not happening. Putting in 1,000 people. Now, there are other issues there. Would you like your son to be in the Guards or your daughter to be in the Guards and to be facing that without any backup?
Absolutely.
There are issues for the Gardaí as well, so let's be very clear. This isn't a battle of the Gardaí issue. This issue needs to be addressed by the Justice Department, and they need to address it more rapidly. Now, there are follow-on issues then from that. You can say the criminality is there, and the issues around criminality is building week on week. But the problems there are we have gone to the superintendent around stuff. There are robberies, there's drug use, there's speeding, there's all sorts going on. But the problem really for me is the fact that we need to do more in order to, the system needs to change. Because if you have a young guy, we'll say for argument's sake, who is homeless, who is being fed as a mule to the drug users, who is now delivering the drugs, the Gardaí can't find him, then he's put into prison. When he gets out and he's out of prison, there is nowhere for him to go. He's out on the road again. He's homeless. There's no system in place to back up. Our services for drug users are out the door. You look at Coon Mirror down in Athy and they work extremely hard. And I'm only naming them because they're the most familiar to me of the area. And there is a 6-month waiting list for Coon Mirror to do exceptional work. With very poor needs of what, and then the person is gone again, they're back out again, and it's just a catch-22, it's a wash and rinse situation. We should be looking at models that look like Portugal, and we have spoken around that before, and there are issues when people come out of prison, they are then given a 28-day rehab session, and that rehab session brings them on, and they're watched and they're looked after. I would have had people come to me saying they know of people who've come out of prison with no service left for them. Young people. That has to be addressed. That's a Justice Department issue.
It is a Justice Department issue, and I think this is a subject I'm really interested in myself. And in 1983, there was a report done called the Bradshaw Report on the inner city of Dublin. And basically what the findings of the Bradshaw Report was that every city and every town and every urban area should have resourced drug services, as in terms of counselling, day programs, treatment centres, residential, and so on. And there should be also secondary treatment for people as well. The Fine Gael government, in their wisdom at the time, just shelved the report. They didn't even read it. They shelved it. What they actually done was they increased the criminality laws for people who were caught in possession of drug use from the 1977 Act to the 1984 Act. So got longer prison sentences. So what we do in this country is we criminalise people who are drug users. We lock them up. I would say, just off the top of my head, 70% of the prison population have drugs issues. 70%.
It's huge.
It's massive.
They're stigmatised because of their drug use. Some fall into it as children and they continue on because the help is not there to get them into rehab. These people are good people. They're ordinary people like you, me, and everybody else. Not everybody that's a drug user is a criminal. Let's be very clear here. And we can have multitudes of drugs, down to alcohol, or drug taking, all of that. So we can't criminalise. We shouldn't be criminalising people in that method. We should be giving them the resources to get rehab and get help and get them into jobs, get them into courses, get them off the street, get them to talk to people, have proper counselling services. They're not there. So that has to be addressed. And I will be supporting anybody that's going to address that. Let's have no fear because it's rampant in Kildare at the moment.
Right, that's a good point. That's a good point to note there. To Patricia has nailed her colours to the mast in terms of drug services in Kildare, and I think that's a really good point. Sorry, Mort, for calling Patricia.
It's good because you talk about that. You probably have myself and Mick over here talk about our addictions. I was a chronic alcoholic. I'm 24.
Well done.
I think Mick is about
33 years sober.
I would have
Fair
been,
play.
but I took a holiday for 5 years, didn't I?
You did,
we were in around the same time.
We did.
And we were very lucky that we found AA. if you think of me and Mick are nut jobs now, you want to see us dead. Well, as someone said to me, he says, Mort, I wouldn't like to see you drinking. I said, no, I says, it's gas. I says, you think I'm a nut job now? I says, I was the most ignorant man was drinking me, I said. But all I'm saying is that myself and Mick were very lucky, because at the end of the day, AA is out there for everybody. And I know the treatment centres are full. But the first thing I'd say to anyone at the moment, if you're having I don't know about the drugs, because it wasn't big back to me in 24 years ago with me, but if anyone is out there, find your AA meeting. And if you don't want to find your AA meeting, Mick was telling me now that you can go online and you can talk to a stranger. But I always said one thing about, if you're ever in a dark place, and I was always taught, get the telephone directly and ring the person and tell them you're in trouble. It doesn't have to be anyone else.
I think the support Patricia has shown for Cún Mire, and she just mentioned it again as well, has been brilliant. Cún Mire is an organisation started in 1972, and every year, just in Athy alone, it treats up to 1,000 people. 1,000 people, like it's with no direct funding from the state. I'm sure they get bits and pieces maybe from whatever, but no direct funding from the state.
Can you imagine having to go out and ask somebody to fund for your situation, to fund to keep these people and get them the help they need, and no direct funding from the government?
Yeah.
We have lots of different groups, charity groups, that are doing that and get no direct funding.
Yeah.
We've seen lots of them fall after COVID.
Yeah.
We need to reinstate these people, and we need to give them direct funding. I also could go on for hours talking about other groups like first responders and all of them. They get nothing. They do fantastic work, but they get nothing from the government.
Yeah. Well, folks, there's a snapshot of Patricia's views on just 3 subjects, really. And why should people vote for you, Patricia? So, like, we're making a plea now to the good people of South Kildare. Why should they vote for you?
I believe I would like people to vote for me because I believe I have more work to do in All Ireland. I believe I have worked extremely hard, albeit under the Sinn Féin banner, and now I will be working extremely hard under an independent banner. I would be asking people to vote for me because I believe there's an awful lot more to be done. I want to help the people of South Kildare. I want to see, carers means tested abolished. I want to see all of them things come to fruition. So I would be asking people to vote for me on that basis. Okay.
Well, listen, Patricia, thanks very much for joining us on this podcast. And I'm sure we'll have you back again at some other time. And the best of luck in your endeavours to get elected.
I very much appreciate it, and thank you.
Great. What do you think, Mort?
It's great. Yeah, it was a great one to have her for her first one. She got away with murder. She got away. I tell you what, I made her a cup of coffee. Her personal PR wouldn't make her coffee. I'm getting a new job after this. No, Mick, it was great to have her on. We said we were going to start these podcasts, and we're going to keep these podcasts going now. And that was the first one. And Patricia came across well. And one thing I'd say about Patricia, and I will tell no one to vote for anyone. I think go in and look who's on the page.
Yeah.
I believe that we need an anti-party Fine Gael and Fianna Fáil vote. I think we need to get in something new for 4 years. And I'm going to say this bluntly: if they don't do their job after 4 years, and as my father would say, fuck them out. And that's it. And I'm not going to apologise for that, because we said this is not going to be uncensored. And we're very lucky. We're very lucky ourselves. We're in a situation that we're working.
Yeah.
And our marriages broke up around the same time. You were living in a house, in a room. I was living in a room. But we were the lucky ones that we had a wage, and we were lucky that a friend of ours got us this house.
Yeah.
Because our situation 4 years ago was we were one step from homelessness.
That's
and
true.
we were both working.
That's true. That's true.
And people said to me about talking to people. I talk to. As someone says to me, Mort, you talk to everybody. I said, yeah, I talk to everyone, because you learn from everybody, right?
Yeah.
And we decided to start this up, and it's going to go forward on it. And if anyone has a topic on it, we have a new Facebook page set up. It's called the Booleigh Boys.
Yeah, but none of us are from Booleigh.
No, but we're getting very near it. There's news coming up. We have a little venture going on with that. It's always called the Booleigh Boys because everyone looks on us as the Booleigh Boys. We turned Booleigh into a madhouse out there. And someone says to me, I remember when we took over Booleigh, and someone said to me, you can't do this, you can't do that. But see, I don't want to do that. I want to do it my way.
Yeah.
and it's worked.
Good
and
stuff.
You've been part of the journey, and I've been part of your journey.
You have.
And you boys are flying, aren't you?
We're absolutely
What
cruising.
about, tell me a bit about this Australian one, the Australia gig in January. You going to Australia?
Yeah, it's going to be tough because we'll have to play upside down. You know what I mean? So that'll be tough enough to get used to that. You know, but I know it's a grueling tour. Actually, we're playing every city in Australia. I think we've 10 gigs or something like that in 11 days, and from Sydney to Perth, like 6 hours flight. But it's nothing that we're not used to. We do that kind of journeys in America and stuff like that as well.
You've gone strength to strength since you were in Booleigh, weren't you?
Jesus, here we go. Fuck's sake.
Well, you've gone from strength to strength since you were in Booleigh. You have to say Booleigh because that's all this.
Listen, so that's been our first edition of the Booleigh Boys. Thanks very much to Patricia Ryan, independent candidate for Kildare South. And stay tuned, spread this around the place, get people listening, share it with your friends if you have any friends. If you don't, share it with somebody else's friends, and we'll be grand. So last word to you, Mort.
Thanks for listening, folks. It's going to be interesting. Like, we're going to be doing a lot of things over that, and this was the one. And why Patricia was sitting here tonight, Patricia Ryan was sitting here tonight, because I've seen it firsthand, the work she's done. And her husband's sitting on a chair there since he came in, and the reason he's sitting on that chair because I says, "Make sit down. You look like." They are putting in the road. They're putting in the work at the moment, and the people around them.
Yeah.
And she's a great crew of people around them, and I don't know them personally, but I'm on a little page that they're on, and I see the work they're doing, and I'm just saying, go in, have a look her up, and look at the most important thing if you're going to give a vote, right? The first 3 votes, the 1, 2, and 3. Just because you don't give the first preference doesn't mean that you haven't done something good for the next person. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. After you do 1, 2, 3, that second person has a very good chance of getting in on the second preference votes. Because that's another thing we're going to have to talk. We'll talk about I think the week before the election about how the voting system works with the 1, 2, 3, 4.
Yeah, we'll do that.
Because there's a lot of people go into the booth and they're looking at this. What? 1, and some of them just walk back out, just put the 1. Oh, I like him, and that's it. Yeah. But that 1 vote is fair enough, isn't that? But you mightn't be the second person, your second preference, your third preference. They're all very important, and a lot of people don't understand that. Your second and third preference is very important. Would you agree on that one?
Oh, I would 100%.
Not very often you agree with me.
No. Right, folks. Thanks very much. We'll talk to you soon. Take care.
The poor old bro, he didn't get in this morning.
No, he's locked up.
He's locked up. Yeah. Well,
that's the dog, by the way. Just in case you think it's something with somebody else, that's the dog.
Yeah,
all right.
Very important.
All right, Gorma good got dinner. August Slanish.
Thanks very much. Cheers.
Rise up the starry plough in James Conley's name,
Rise up the starry plough.
for his glory and his fame,
He joined the transport union,
so workers could be free,
fought for Irish freedom.
for the likes of you and